just savage. It's just crazy.
Brilliant to catch fish like this. Maybe they're on 20 kilo plus, but for me this is where it's all about. So
For me, it just blows my head up. This is such a long section of the canal. So look at that, my first canal carp in France.
this is where we do it for, boys.
Be the scaly mirror.
I think it is a mirror.
A lot of weed,
Yes.
a lot of driving, not much sleep, keep moving.
Welcome back, Bonesy.
Not as much of him left. I haven't seen him in months.
No,
He's got all skinny.
Yeah. Carp life's getting a little bit too heavy
you know.
belly, so
But enough of gym talk. We're
Yeah.
back. Public dream number 4, and this time we're doing something very, very different. Where are we going, Bas?
Yes, now we're fishing now in the central France, and we're going to fish on channels.
They're very simple, aren't they? Because it tends to just be one deck.
Yeah.
But there's hundreds and hundreds of miles, so this is going to be
And a lot of weed.
a lot of weed,
Yes.
a lot of driving, not much
Yeah.
sleep.
Now,
Keep moving.
in this session we are going to hit and run style. So we're going to pre-bait swims all around different stretches. So we're pre-baiting swims at least 2 days.
Yeah,
Yesterday I was already here, pre-baited 2 different stretches,
Yeah.
pre-baited this stretch a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're jumping here now for one night.
yeah, and then we move to the next swim.
Then we move to the next
That's
one.
already been pre-baited, and we just got to keep pre-baiting and then moving.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's a real exciting form of fishing. And you know, I know there's fish
Yes,
all
I
over
would,
the kilo in these sections of canal. So
2 weeks ago was my first time fishing on the French channels,
Yeah.
and I caught 23 kilos. So there are some massive fish in here, but
Yeah.
it won't going to be easy.
Yeah.
It looks easy fishing, but we will
Yeah.
we will see how we
you
get
got to
on.
find them. So
Yeah,
we're going to
yeah.
pre-bait. But we've turned up to this first swim. Obviously, we're going to move every single night. So what we got? 6 nights, 7 nights, something like that.
8.
8 nights.
Eight.
We're going to hopefully
8
fish
in total.
8 different sections
Yes,
of canal
yes.
and hopefully bag some fish. But for now, it's time to get the kit out, get ourselves set up, get the rods
Yeah,
out.
looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Bonesy,
Let's see if
go,
the
man.
pre-baits works.
Living the public dream, right, Bonesy?
Red hot again, isn't it?
Bit weedy.
1st of October. Got the old man boobs out.
Let's go. Let's give it a try.
Found another use for the old prodding stick. Put a rake in, screw it in the end. Then with a rake. This has been a nightmare. It's just took us how long to get your rods out, Bas?
It took at least 2 hours.
Yeah, and even then, you just don't seem to have managed to get any sort of line lay. You can see there's just a savage amount of floating weed on the canal where the weeds all died off and it's all breaking up. It's just floating, and it's because it's got a very slight movement in it. You've got to try and get your line to the bottom, and it's just next to impossible. But I found that just up from me on the corner, it's a little bit clearer. So I'm raking a nice spot in the edge. Gonna bait that one tonight, and then try and get one a bit further out. But there's just so much weed. You know, if your line just catches a bit of that weed, it's going to be up in the water. It's going to collect loads of weed in the night. And because there's a flow on this, a very slight flow, you're just going to end up dragging. And it's a bit of a nightmare.
What a nightmare. Yesterday I was here to pre-bait the swim, no problem at all. Saw some little bit of weed, but now everything has come off, and yeah, the entire channel is full of weed. And we do get hard drops, but we don't get a line lay because our line is laying on top of the weed. So yeah, it's been a bit of a struggle fishing with one rod with a washing line technique, and yeah, loads of trust in it, but yeah, doesn't look too well for the first night. But we'll see how we get on for the first night over here, or else it's just a matter of early moving again in the morning, and then we'll see. Good morning, Bonesy.
First night on the canals, and it was very uneventful, unfortunately, except for this morning when Bas got took out by a very large barge.
It was a ripper.
And it was, yeah. I stuck my head out thinking he's got one. Looked out, there's just this barge taking one of Bas's rods miles up the canal. This was to be expected. We thought it might be like this, that we're going to have to keep moving to try and find bites. The coots are still picking up the odd bait, so there's obviously not a lot of fish here. Haven't seen any fish, no real fizzing or anything, so it's time to pack up and move. It was a bit of a restless night. There was a bit of a party going on over the back, wasn't there? 3 o'clock this morning, I could hear Michael Jackson playing. But yeah, it's time to move. We're going to head now. We've got about half an hour to go to the next spot. We're going to bake that up, aren't we? Then we're going to move on to the next spot that we're going to fish that night and then return.
I've pre-baited the swim 2 days, so
keep doing it like that. It's lovely though. It's real nice. It's very quiet, very peaceful. Apart from the odd runner coming past and the odd person on a bike, it's actually mint. So yeah, a little bit tired this morning, but we'll move on to the next one and see if we can pack some carps. So we've seen fish here, which is really difficult because I want to get the rods out. But what we've got is a plan. And the plan is that we visit a swim, bait it, go to another swim, come back to the swim and sort of leapfrog it. And from the experience that the people that have got a lot of experience in this style of fishing that we've chatted to have explained that is the best way to do it, is to bait a swim, leave it for a couple of days, then come back to it. So we're sort of leapfrogging ourselves. Now we've seen carp here and one of them was absolutely and it's just like, oh my god, there's fish that big in this canal.
Yes.
So we've just put a little bit more bait out just to try and keep them in the area, because we're going to the swim that was pre-baited 2 days ago to fish tonight, and then we'll be back to this swim tomorrow. So hopefully them carp are still going to be here. But we've got about another hour's driving, so let's swap over and get to the next swim and start fishing. Come on, Bas. We were both super excited to be heading to the spot that Bas had spent 2 days baiting up. But when we arrived, absolute disaster. The weed had died, all risen to the surface, and the spots that had been baited were completely unfishable. We sat for a while and had a think, but the decision was made that we would head back to the spot that we'd just baited and we'd just seen the fish to start there, which isn't the way we wanted to do it, but unfortunately the weed gave us no other choice. Been a long day, Bas.
Definitely, mate.
So a quick recap. We came to this swim, we baited, we saw fish. We went to the next swim that Bas had baited for a couple of days, and it was so choked with weed that it was just completely unfishable. So we decided to come back here. We started getting the rods out. Now we're having to put the rods out with a little inflatable going out because it's quite clear and there's just a wall of weed and it's real thick weed. So we're dropping it right next to the weed. Got 2 or 3 rods out. What happens? A barge comes. So we have to reel all the rods in, wait for the barge to go past, then we put the rods out. The sun's just going down and we've finally managed to get 6 rods out.
And we left our swim around 10 this morning?
Yeah, probably around 10 o'clock. It's
now 7.
This canal fishing, especially over here with the time of year, because the weed's dying off, it's all coming up to the surface and it's just savage. It's just crazy. But we've seen some wicked fish and there's some fish in the area, definitely, and we've both got rods on spots now. We've managed to get down the towpath. We've got a nice little swim set up, and yeah, it's time to chill now, and hopefully next time you see us we'll have a fish. After what was a really long day, it was so nice to sit down, chill and have something to eat. Once we'd had a little chat, Bas decided to call some of his mates that fish this area of the canals regularly, and they informed us, unfortunately, they'd just come back from a 5-night blank in the area, which is pretty unusual because this part of the canals tends to do the odd fish. Naturally it did a bream for me, but unfortunately there was no carp. So we had another little nose round, thought no, it's time to move, and we'll head further south to another canal system where there might be a better chance of a fish and potentially a lot less weed. So it was time to pack the gear into the cars, head for the 4-hour journey further south in France to the better weather and hopefully better fishing. Once arriving, it was time to repeat. We found 3 spots, baited all 3 spots so that we could carry on leapfrogging. We'd fish one of the spots that night and then we'd drop onto the others the following days.
Bonesy. What do you think?
Well, we've pre-baited 2 swims now, ready for tomorrow night and the night after, and we've come to a section of the canal that apparently has got a lot of fish in it, but quite a lot smaller than what's in the other sections. But for me, it's a bit shallow. But the guys assure me that they do catch in this sort of depth. It's probably 2 foot in the middle, 2.5 foot maximum. You know, so it's only that sort of depth, and you know you will catch fish in that sort of depth. But for me, it just blows my head up. This is such a long section of the canal. I think, judging by
8 kilometers.
Yeah, judging by the water level, someone's left a lock open somewhere because it isn't half shallow. And also we've had to drive along, drop our kit and go drop the van somewhere else. And because we've been fishing out the vans the past 2 nights, you forget things. My scoop's in the van. It's like, So yeah, so my head's a bit blown this afternoon, but we're gonna get some rods out and we're gonna see if we can snaffle one out of this section. Need to snaffle one out somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
What you got, Bas?
I'm getting stuck in my own line in a mini boat in the middle of the night for a catfish. Eerie, I don't know if you can see it, but...
Well, we've had a bream and now we've had a catfish. Happy days. Go on, the public dream.
Good morning, boys. Finally. No catfish, no bream, and proper morning take. We're just having a coffee and please let it get in.
Yeah, come on. We need a fish.
Oh yeah.
It's been a tough start, that's for sure.
Come on. It's not a big one, but finally a bit of a reward after a bit of a struggle the last couple of days.
That's canal fishing.
Yes. Finally, the first fish of the session. After the catfish last night was a little bit of a deception, but now, yeah, finally getting the reward. We're just having a cup of coffee, and I saw the rod tip already bent round before I get a bleep, and then, yeah, this beauty came up. It's not the biggest of all, but yeah, really happy with it. After all of the work we put in the last couple of days, yeah, lovely. I think it's now time to pack up. And
Move swims again.
Yeah, and pre-bait 2 swims. Get on the pre-baited swim from yesterday behind the factory. This stretch is famous for quite some big fish, so yeah, let's hope we get we're going to catch his bigger brother or sister. Then let's return this baby. Lovely times. Alles is goed?
Yeah.
Okay, here we are again. It's almost 3 o'clock. We've visited multiple spots that we've pre-baited, spoken to a lot of Dutch people that are fishing our swims that we pre-baited. We see a lot of bubbling on those swims, but we can't fish there because they're way too close to them. They said they've blanked tonight. We don't trust them because there was a sling in the trees behind them.
We always tell people in England when they come up behind and say, have you caught anything? No, nothing.
No, nothing. But so we have made a new plan, pre-baited another swim, walked a stretch of 3 kilometers back and forth, and now we are going to fish instant again. So we've pre-baited 2 swims, going to fish this stretch instant. I'm now going on the scooter, electric scooter, because in Dutch it's a step, but it's English, so it's weird. Going to check out the whole stretch, if there's any carp, if I can see a swim where carp is hanging around, because we're fishing instant. I want to get on the fish instead of just going somewhere. So yeah, living the public dream, Bonesy. You love it, isn't it?
Go on then, get going.
Yeah, bye.
I'm tired, I want to get rods in the water. Bye. Bas went off on his little journey and came back reporting he had seen some carp in the edge having a feed, and one of them was a proper stunning looking mirror. So we quickly got back in the vans, drove down the towpath, found somewhere to park and set up camp. We decided we'd fish in between where the two fish had been seen, one fishing to the right and one fishing to the left. And then it was time to sit back, relax and hopefully wait for a bite. Not took long.
20 minutes in, I reckon.
If that.
Tiger nuts are like maximum a meter out of the bank.
Right in the edge.
Yeah, right in the edge, mate.
Where we seen some fish feeding earlier. Maybe it's that mirror we saw earlier.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to catch it. It's not the big, it's not the biggest of all, but
it had a big old mouth on it. I know that much. Yeah, come on, Bas.
This is where you do it for, boys. I think it is a mirror.
Yeah. Come on, be the scaly mirror.
When the planes comes together.
Yeah, boy. Come on, Bas. Come on, Bas. That's on the block. Yeah. Yeah, boy.
Love it.
Come on, the canal carp.
Come on. It's definitely the fish that I saw.
It is. It's definitely that mirror, isn't it? It's got the scales across its top. Let's have a look.
Yeah, big scales.
Get in there and have a look.
Big scales.
Yeah, look, that's the one. This is the fish that we saw. Hold on, let's just drop that net so you can see. This is the fish that we saw feeding in the edge earlier.
Yeah, definitely.
There was a big common as well, and hopefully I'll have that.
Yeah, it was on the right side, so when you're getting a take, it's the next one.
Yeah, boy. Come on. Let's get her out and get her weighed, get her looked at.
Yeah, we still have an hour left.
Of daylight.
Yeah.
Could be a busy night, Bas. But it could not as well.
Happy days, Bonesy.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Look at that. What a fish.
At least 15 kilos. We saw it this afternoon baiting in the edge. We already saw his big mouth and his big scales on his back.
I said to you, didn't I? It got a big mouth.
Yeah, I said to Bonesy, like, yeah, I really wanted to catch it. And on the side where Bonesy's fishing, I'm fishing on the left, Bonesy's taking the right. There was a nice common, so
please,
if we could manage
bring
to
me a
catch
common.
Both a nice fish, then that would be really lovely.
A few nights no fish, apart from a bream, which is standard for me to catch a bream. Now I need
really lovely.
The happy days, loving life.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on.
Going to places back
Public
and
canal dream.
Maybe there's a bit more in
yeah. Still got a few nights left.
Channel. Love it.
Let's keep them going. Get it back.
We made us work, but can't complain. Bye bye. Go get your brother for bone.
I tell you what, this canal fishing is as tiring as it is frustrating. You know, you're driving around a lot, baiting up areas and all that, but as long as you get one good meal a day, it's happy days. Well, Bas has had that fish. We got into night time now. We're just going to have something to eat and a glass of wine, and we're going to sit it out, and hopefully I'll bag my first canal carp tonight. We did see fish in the area, so I'm real hopeful of it happening. It's been quite tiring, you know, driving around doing all this pre-baiting. It's a very different style of fishing to what I'm used to. It is quite non-stop, and it's so frustrating turning up to a swim and that you've baited up to find other people fishing there. But we've managed to find some fish, and Bas has had one, and we're having a mega time as always.
Definitely, mate.
Yeah, hopefully inspiring you guys to potentially come out and do a little bit yourself.
Not too much, please.
No, not too much. Don't find you in the swim when we turn up.
Yeah.
But for now, we've got some tortellini with a bit of sausage and sauce. We're using up what we've got left, but we'll do a bit of a shop tomorrow. But for me, it's time to have a small glass of vino and a little bit of dinner. Yes, Bas.
Yes, Bonesy. Another one.
Same rod, is it?
Yeah, no.
Oh, it's the middle rod.
Middle rod. Boilies. Oh. It's only a small one, but...
Another bite. Canal carp at its best.
Yeah. Get in.
Hey! Come on, the canal common.
This is a typical Dutch common as well.
Look at it. It's a big shark. No,
Still, it's another fish, and we're finally getting into some bass, which is good.
It's just a tiny one, but yeah, had good fun. They're so strong in this channel, it's insane.
Shallow water, they always fight so hard in shallow water.
Yeah, a really lovely fight on a snowman in the middle of the canal. I have to say channel. Canal.
Canal, we say in
Canal.
England.
Canal.
It's canal because we're posh.
Yeah, so
Canal.
I'm going to put it back in the canal. Nice one.
Nice, happy days. Happy days.
I don't think there's anything worse, Bas, than waking up in the morning, checking your rods, and every single one of them be missing bait due to pass on chat. They're an absolute pain in the arse. Didn't know they were in this stretch. It's just like so annoying. You said you checked yours this morning and one of them had been whittled down, so I was like, shit, I better check mine. Sure enough, every single one of them, the bait's gone. This is how hard this can be, this type of fishing. You know, you go into a stretch, you don't really know what's in here. You know, is there loads of catfish? Is there loads of poisson chat? The last sections we fished, there was no poisson chat.
No, nothing.
So I've swapped from wafters over to hard. So these are hard hookers. So these are designed especially for a rock hard bait to stop things like that happening, and also add in a little bit of plastic. Because if your bait goes really quickly, at least there's always something there with a bit of plastic on that they can't get off. It's just it's only 8 o'clock, so we'll give it till at least 10, and then we'll decide where we're going and what we're doing.
It was such a beautiful morning on this section of the canal, but sadly with no signs of fish, it was time to get the stuff loaded back in the vans and carry on with the plan. We headed back to what would be swim 3 from this section and top that up with just a little bit more bait. Then we were going to return to swim 2, which was a section we had a little bit more confidence in because this section had actually seen bait for another day. The other bonus about this section is the fact that we were going to be arriving there a lot earlier, which meant the rods were going to be in the water for a lot longer than what they had been the previous night.
So, welcome to the new pack. Again, a busy day with a lot of moving, and we've pre-baited a swim now for 2 days. It's 2 stretches down the road from this stretch. We are now on the same stretch where we have been the first night when we arrived on this new location. I already get a couple of liners, and there's definitely fish in the area. We've pre-baited this swim for 1 day, and we decided to split up a bit. So Bonesy is approximately 150 meters away from me, just to spread our chances and to spread the bait out even more. And yeah, it's been a quiet day for the rest of it. My confidence is okay, it's not sky high, but yeah, we'll see what the rest of the day brings. Let's hope that Bonesy is also catching something, because all of the moving, all of the pre-baiting, it's yeah, it's a lot of work. But yeah, this is the style of fishing. You have to be mobile, you have to be prepared to move a lot, to pre-bait a lot of swims, and then yeah, eventually we'll catch a couple. Let's hope for a biggie and pray for a carp for Bonesy.
in the net. Look,
Come on.
look at the mouth.
Come on.
Finally,
Let's go, Bonesy.
Definitely not a monster, but I'll tell you what, after blanking for 4 nights, I am very happy to have got a carp. There she is. So look at that, my first canal carp in France. I'm so happy to have got a bite. You know, the last few nights have been really difficult. You know, Bas has had a few. You know, it's been a bit quieter for me. But finally we've come back to a spot that we have pre-baited, and I've put my rigs bang on the spot. They've gone down really well, and I've managed to catch a fish, thank God. You know, it starts getting quite stressful when you're out here for 3 or 4 nights and you haven't caught anything, but I'm starting to feel that that's what this canal carping can be like. You know, these fish, they're not always there, and they've got such big stretches they can wander around on. But I think a little bit of time in the same spot, a little bit of bait and a bit of hard work, and I've finally managed to get one.
Yes.
Now let's hope we can get into some of the slightly bigger fish. You know, the fish in these canals go well over 25 kilo. There's even fish known at 30 kilo, which is over 60 pound in a canal. But I am proper buzzing with this one. I've been waiting for a bite for the last few days. So let's get her back, get her photographed, and let's move on to the next one.
Yes.
We haven't quite finished my fish, Bas.
Yeah. We just wanted to take some pictures of the fish of Bonesy, and then I heard a single bleep, and then the electric scooter came to life. I instantly jumped on it.
One of the problems is we're quite a distance away from each other at the minute, aren't we?
25 kilometers an hour in the dark along the canal.
Fun times.
Yeah. But yeah,
it looks a
it's
good
a lovely
fish.
comment. It's not a real big one as well, but
About the same size as mine, you say?
yeah, quite similar, yeah. And the funny part is it's between our rods.
Yeah.
So, like, it's my most right-hand rod. So it's the rod that...
Well, it was my most left-hand rod, so they're almost like the fish are in between us.
Yeah, yeah. That's funny, isn't it?
Well, there's plenty of bait out there, so hopefully they'll come on.
Munching about.
Come on, Van der Werf, get it in the net.
Get it in.
Messing about. Oh, it's in. That was close.
Close call.
Nice.
Let's go, boys. What a mega evening is this. Pre-baited the swim, and before we go to bed, already 2 takes.
Keep moving,
I
let's
think
hope.
we're going to get a busy night, Bones.
Hopefully, yeah.
Really lovely common.
And that's a better
Like,
fish. It's got to be
yeah.
30 pound, close to 14 kilo.
And it's the pristine conditions in this channel. Like, it's brilliant to catch fish like this. Maybe they're on 20 kilo plus, but yeah,
They're
you
just
put
not-
in the work, and when you're catching fish like this, for me, this is where it's all about. So
Just never fished for, are they?
not a lot, not a lot.
Proper fish, love it.
Lovely.
Absolutely love it.
Okay, let's put the baby back. So, good morning. Finally, after a really cold night,
It was freezing.
yes, I kept to this one around 5 o'clock in the morning. It's now around 8, and yeah, lovely times. I also caught a small common, Bonesy as well during the night.
Yeah, that one fish you've seen, and then
Yeah.
I had another fish that was small and put it back. Not
Yeah.
forgetting a good old Carasio.
Lovely times. Yeah, this is where we came to this Canals for, and yeah, really looking forward to get onto the next swim.
Pristine fish, aren't they?
Yeah, because we've pre-baited this swim, and I can feel it in the air that there's something special is going to happen. I don't know why, but
on.
I think definitely we're going to catch a big one over there. So yeah, it's time to pack up again,
And move again.
move again to the next canal, and yeah, trying to catch a couple of more of these ones, isn't it?
Happy days.
Yes. Let's put this baby back, and then on to the next threads.
So another move, another section of canal, another setup, another takedown, another rig, another, it's so long. So we're back on the last stretch in this area before we move tomorrow, about an hour south to go to a different canal. Bas and I both got 1 rod out each. We baited this swim for 2 days. Now it's a lot clearer down here, so I've changed a couple of things. I've gone to fluorocarbon leader because, you know, it's a little bit clearer. But I just want to show you from last night. So that is a double 22mm boilie, and that's what I bought in. And this is what Poisson Chat and crayfish can do to your hook bait. Now these are hard hook baits, but they continuously, poisson chat, just continuously rasp it. Crayfish coming in, attacking. But that was in the water for 12 hours and it did do me a bite. But you can see it's got almost flat size. It looks as if you've cut it with a sanding knife. But time to get this rod done and back out, and hopefully I'm going to catch one of the, what they call old strain fish, which are in this section. Both me and Bas went into the night feeling really confident in this section, and we were both really hoping to see one of the beautiful older strain fish that reside here. Bas had shown me some pictures earlier on of his friends that had caught them out of here, and they were just incredible. But sadly, by morning, we were fishless. The only thing that makes up for it on sessions like this is the scenery is just something else.
Don't worry, Bas, we'll get some. 2 more nights.
I am a blanker. Such a lovely bait. But it was time to move on again. We decided to go to a complete new area where I have already been 3 weeks previously. This stretch is about 3 kilometers long. I used the electric scooter again to check out a canal as fast as possible. I found a really pretty spot next to a harbor. It looked really carpy. I couldn't really see them, but we saw some carp during the observations around this harbor. The idea was to stay on this pack for at least 2 nights to finish the session. The last time I fished this stretch I caught really well, and we stayed 2 nights on 1 swim. We've placed our rigs by using the little boat. Bonesy had his lucky glass with him, so we could see our rigs perfectly on the bottom. The water was crystal clear, and it's such a nice feeling to place your rigs by hand. You know everything is spot on, and when a carp arrives on the swim, you will definitely have a good chance of catching them. Again, it was a really long day of traveling, searching swims and all of that. So we decided to put our heads down really early. Let's pray for a big one. It was a shame, but again, the carp gods weren't with us. We didn't saw a single carp in our area after placing the rigs. We were hoping they were coming back during the night, but it didn't happen. So there was only one thing left to do. One night we had to move. We had to give it one final chance. To be really honest, it was a lot of hard work, and I've never fished so many swims in my life in such a short time space. But this is typical canal fishing. Sometimes you can be lucky, and sometimes it can be really hard work. So the only thing we could do was one final move. I've grabbed the electric scooter in the morning again, and I saw some carp about 1 kilometer from our swim. I first tried stalking them, but that didn't work. There was too much weed and we could only fish in the edges. So I said to Bonesy, we have to go. We have to give it one more try. We placed our rigs in the edge and we almost didn't disturb anything at all. We were really hoping for a bite, but the carps were cruising and behaving strange. It's about the same behavior that we saw in the beginning of this video. The carps weren't just having it. They didn't seem up for a feed at all. It was approximately 26-27 degrees. It was definitely not normal to see these temperatures around this time of year. Let's see what the last night brings. Yes, Bonesy.
Well, that's the end, Bas.
Yes.
8 nights, 2 fish, hard work, but that's public fishing.
Yeah, that's what it is. You can also have bad sessions on Pale Lake. So yeah, I think we've done everything you could imagine
we could.
to try to catch.
Everything we could.
It just didn't work out.
So hard.
And
these fish, that we'd find them, we'd turn up on them, we'd be dead quiet, gentle, and they just Houdini'd us.
Yeah.
But that's the life, mate.
Next time.
On to
better.
next year.
Yeah, definitely. So thank you for watching.
Yeah.
And don't forget,
hit the subscribe button.
see you next time, boys.